In other news today, the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria has granted an urgent interdict by President Cyril Ramaphosa to stay the remedial action of Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's Bosasa report. That's pending a judicial review. The Public Protector did not oppose the interim interdict, making it a quick and simple matter for the court. Following the urgent interdict, the courts will now determine a date to hear a full judicial review of the Public Protector's Bosasa report. In her findings, Mkhwebane found the President deliberately misled Parliament on a question about a 500,000 rand donation from the company Bosasa to his CR17 campaign. She also instructed the NPA to investigate possible money laundering. President Ramaphosa, however, argues the report was not investigated properly and that Mkhwebane overreached by looking into accounts that are not related to the Bosasa donation. Lawyers for Ramaphosa have also asked the court to withhold from the public certain bank statements and information used by Mkhwebane in her Bosasa report. Well, let's get more developments on that today and speak now to the political analyst, Professor Tinyiko Maluleke, who is at UNISA on the line now from Tshwane. Professor Maluleke, in our Pretoria studio, I should say. Professor Maluleke, thank you very much indeed for your time today. I suppose the most interesting thing about today's case is that the Public Protector did not oppose this application, while she has opposed the applications in other cases. Do you have any idea of why she might be changing, I don't know, her tactics or her strategy here?
It's unclear to me why she chose not to oppose, but it could be an indication that she probably expected the outcome that has come now and didn't think that it was worth her while trying to oppose it. Because let's face it, this loss of today is very similar to the two previous losses, which all have to do with remedial actions. The difference being that today's remedial actions relate to the Bosasa matter, but it is pretty much a very similar kind of case. So it was predictable for most observers and probably for her too.
We then, of course, have the situation regarding the emails, and I'm talking about the publication yesterday by the Sunday Independent newspaper of the names of some of the people who donated to the CR17 campaign. We've got all of this. We've got the President reacting to it. We've got the ANC reacting to it. Does any of this change the balance of power within the ANC for you, Prof? Do you see any of this around the emails, the donations? Do you think it changes the position around President Ramaphosa?
I think it complicates things for President Ramaphosa quite considerably, not just inside the ANC, but since you are asking about the ANC, I think we could start there. It certainly complicates things for his United or Unity project, the project to unite the ANC, because uniting the ANC means uniting the ANC behind the President. And if the President, if there are questions of credibility and believability around the President, then that project is in danger. The project of uniting the ANC, certainly uniting it behind him. Perhaps uniting it against him is what may be possible for some of the factions inside of the ANC. So it doesn't help that particular project, or even the project of renewing the ANC. Which is an extension, if you like, of the New Dawn project. How does the President proceed to renew the ANC when, by the very revelations of the emails, what happens is that those who are with him will defend him and those who are against him will attack him from inside of the ANC. This is the worst situation any president of a ruling political party wants to find themselves in.
I mean, in situations like this, we've had the ANC, well, divided. I think its own documents will say that, and its own officials will often concede that in situations like this. Does it mean that people are moving from one side to another because of the emails, or does it just entrench the divisions that we've already seen? In other words, the people who, were elected at Nasrec from two different groups stay elected at Nasrec, stay within those groups, and nothing seems to shift much, at least for the moment.
Yeah, I don't think for now people are going to change sides necessarily. I think that what you are going to see is a reinforcement of positions, entrenching of positions, as you rightly point out, but also perhaps the reawakening of people who were sort of observing the situation and not choosing any side with any passion. They may be awakened to pick a side now. There is also the possibility that people inside and outside the ANC may join forces, as we have seen with political parties, opposition parties joining forces with some members of the ANC against the Ramaphosa faction. So all sorts of movements are possible, but I don't think for now it is a changing of sides necessarily. What is more significant is the implications of all these for national politics, for the proverbial neutral South African citizen, the neutral observer, if such a thing exists.
All right, you talk about that person, if such a person exists. I don't know if they do in our politics. I suppose you could argue that so many people didn't vote in the elections that maybe they do exist. The real question would be, does this stop the implementation of change of policy of President Ramaphosa's stated agenda of reform? Presumably, it does seem to make him weaker politically, which might well postpone or delay his promised reforms.
Well, it does weaken him politically inside of the party, and it raises questions about whether he has a character flaw, or you could argue character flaws that may prevent him from providing the kind of leadership that the ANC needs at this time in its history. Now, to ask that question is not to say that that is necessarily true, that he has the character flaw, but the very fact that people are beginning to ask the question is worrisome. Now, the other problem is that he must be distracted by all this. And distraction is something that he can't afford. And if he thinks he can, certainly the country cannot afford a distracted president. Not at this time when the economy is so bad, the unemployment rate is so bad, things at SCOM are not working out. All of these problems that we have require a president who is fully present, not one who is spending most of the time defending himself in the courts of law.
The battle with the public protector, I mean, it seems to go on and on. Who do you think is going to be left standing at the end? And I suppose that's really a different way of simply asking, do you think the public protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, may actually be removed from office by the end of all of this? And that, again, will depend on the internal politics of the ANC.
Well, from what I understand, a parliamentary process is looming in a month or so to that effect, to try and remove her from office. But it seems to me that she has factored all of that in, certainly in some of her statements, which appear quite defiant, and maybe she's going for broke as far as these issues are concerned. And I don't know that she will walk out of that office voluntarily from what she's saying. So we have this unfortunate situation where with every loss that the public protector's office suffers, the noise or the volume of people who say she should resign increases. And on the one hand, that's what we have. On the other, we have a president who is distracted and fighting for his own credibility. Two very crucial offices in the land, Office of the Public Protector and Office of the President, at war with one another. And I am not so sure that the citizens have got anything to benefit so far from this war.
Professor Tinyiko Maluleke, thank you very much indeed. Professor Maluleke is a political analyst at UNISA. Your weather is next.